Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to show you how I paint up one of my Plastic Platoon toy soldiers to look a little bit cooler and give him a fun little base made from a Hobby Lobby jar. Basically it's just a jar that I flipped up on its side. It works great. So yeah, let's dive in. Some of you might have already watched my video review of Plastic Platoon's toy soldier. I was very hesitant to say I was gonna enjoy painting these because they are so rubbery, and a lot of you gave me some great ideas and feedback, and what I ultimately ended up doing was painting the soldier you see here with the mohawk, the Screaming Eagle, 101st Airborne Screaming Eagle. I believe loosely modeled off of a famous figure named Jake McNasty. I went with a brush-on primer. I had originally tried using spray primer on one of the other figures, and it nearly ruined the figure. And I kind of had the forethought to think maybe it wouldn't be the best idea to use a spray adhesive, an aerosol spray adhesive on the figures, but I tried it anyway, and it's been really difficult to sort of work. It was impossible to work with the paint on the figure the way it was because it wouldn't dry and it was forever sticky. So what I ended up doing was getting Vallejo's black primer. It's a brush-on primer, and I gave the figure several coats with that. Now that's basically to say, this, it's still not the best for painting on these rubber figures because nothing really 100% sticks to the rubber. There might be some aerosol spray cans out there that work. I know some people suggested to use automotive spray paint. I guess it's for like leathery surfaces and things, but my concern with that would be the thickness that is applied to the figure, and losing all the details. So I went with what I thought would be the safer route of brushing on the primer. The end result, as you saw in the beginning, a little preview, is something that I'm not 100% sold on because it does end up looking so glossy and still does remain a little bit tacky, and it's just the way the material takes the acrylic paint. A lot of people have suggested using oils as well instead of acrylic paint, but I've never used oils and I don't have oil paints, so it's an entirely new investment and learning curve for this type of project. So I decided to just do what I know and try to do it the best I can with the skills I've already got. And I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out. It's just, it became a very difficult process because the paint would go on super thick. It would dry very shiny despite the paint actually being matte and typically being typically drying with a more matte finish. This ended up with a very glossy finish. So I, even at the end, I sprayed it with a matte varnish, which usually adds a bit of gloss, and I think it did tamper it down a little bit in some areas, but essentially this is a very difficult model to paint because if you touch any part of the model, you can very easily brush off the primer. And even when you start to apply the paint on top of the primer, if you brush into any of the areas that have been painted, the paint will come off with the primer. So it's really one of these situations where you have to, I had to personally figure out a way to touch the model less. So here you see me using a paint handle. When I first painted the figure's face, I wasn't too worried about touching the body because I knew I could just go over it again and reprime it. But now as I'm painting the rest of the model, I've got to keep it on this base and be really careful not to drop it or touch it in any place that I've already painted it. Because it will very easily rub off. It's obnoxious. So you can see it's coming off the bottom of the base there. You can see the green of the rubber shining through. And I don't call these plastic. There's nothing plastic about them in the sense that maybe chemically there is plastic in there. They just bounce and wiggle like rubber. So even painting, you can see all of the jiggling. It became very difficult to get it stable, and here I am with the brilliant idea. I have myself muted, but had the idea of using the jar at this stage. So I figured, in the same vein of trying to keep it more stable, let's glue it to this larger base, and that actually gave me something a bit wider and easier to hold on to, which gave it some more stability. But first I went back and I painted the straps, and I decided after applying this yellowish, I think it's middle stone color to all of the pouches and straps that I did not like that yellow, so I'll go back in and change it later. But here I am applying flat brown to all the boots, and when I go back in and do some more of the detailing, it'll be on the when he's actually glued to the base. But for now, I'm trying to get some of the broader colors painted on. Went with flat brown for the gun holster, some highlights on his mohawk hair right here. Like I said, the boots and some of the like the wood that's sticking out of this rubble, even though that gets mostly covered up with the diorama effects. I'm doing a little bit of stippling to try and call out some of the details that I see here, but really the paint has not adhered wonderfully to the model of the miniature, and it's kind of thicker than I would like, but I'm doing my best to make it still look cool. So here I'm using some of that PR40 glue that I love. It instantly stuck to this base that I primed black with the same primer I primed the miniature. And now I'm using this diorama thick mud effect, and what I'm going to do from after this is stick in a bunch of these Geek Gaming grass tufts. There we go. So this is kind of a fun part of this process. I liked this a lot. This was very easy and sort of like I was feeling out like what I wanted to do. At one point I thought maybe having like a transition of him maybe coming out of some high bush or shrubs, and like maybe he's sneaking up on someone. But I ended up just adding in a bunch of different tufts that I've had to give it a very like lively carpeted feel. I just thought it looked kind of cool without getting too much into the storytelling. I wish I had some other figures this size. I probably could have made a more interesting narrative diorama, like maybe he could have been sneaking up behind a German soldier against a brick wall or something. But I still have these ideas in my head that I want to do some more complicated narrative dioramas in the future. But because the process of painting this figure wasn't that enjoyable and it was so sort of back and forth frustrating, I decided to keep it kind of simple so I could finish it off and share these thoughts with you, because I did want to paint more of these guys, but the process just isn't enjoyable. So here you see me, I'm actually going back over those yellow pouches and straps with a light gray that I think fits the aesthetic a bit more appropriate. And here he is all done. I think he looks pretty vicious. I like him a lot. In a second I'm going to show you some of the final detail shots, but I'm also going to show you what he looks like on my shelf here too. Get a glimpse of his semi-permanent home against my Firefly picture and some other models I have. And yeah, this whole process was a learning experience. I would not recommend acrylics on these rubber figures. I wouldn't really recommend painting them up at all. Here's my son helping put the final touches on the glass jar. So I appreciate everyone watching. I'll see you in the next one.